All right, everyone, welcome back into the DDSN Diamond Betting Show, where we cover everything across Major League Baseball and the betting markets. Thank you for those of you that join into the shorts that we were posting earlier during opening day up until today, because we do have an early game that the Twins and the Royals that is going on right now. I wasn't able to post any plays last weekend. I was out of town on the road, but now we should be good with everything. If we do have early games, I will post the shorts like we did today early, and then we'll have our full show with the bulk of all of the major league games to go over. I think I'm trying to figure out what is going to be the best time to do it, because of course I have to record it and then post it. Numbers change, lines change, we know that. So y'all let me know what you prefer. Until then, I'll just do my best to get it out as earliest as possible once I get all the lineup and pitcher information. So for me, I don't bet more than, let's see here, on the money line, minus 160. Minus 160 is still pretty pricey, and that's not something I do very often. But I do use that as kind of a cutoff until I go into the run line. So as long as the run line is plus money, I'll play it. But if it's a negative price on the run line, even if it's minus 120, maybe I'll play it. But usually I won't do it unless there's plus money there. And let's get into it. Let's get into it. But first, before we get into today's games, I do want to mention that, yeah, we do have a winning record. We're actually off to a pretty hot start with our sides. We're up 2.14 units, and with our props, which I usually only do the props for standalone games. So primetime games, early games like we have right now, if they're going well and we're successful, maybe I switch it up a little bit. But y'all just let me know in the comments. Let's get into today's games. Excuse me. So for today, we've got the Texas Rangers. I'm just going to go in order here. In based off of the time. That way I could read these off. We'll talk about them, and I have my plays already listed. So at 5:30 Central Time, we've got the Texas Rangers plus 109 taking on the Baltimore Orioles minus 131. Jack Leiter's on the mound against Chris Bassett. I kind of do lean toward the Rangers here. I don't count leans, so whether I win them or lose them, I don't celebrate them. But I don't know enough about this Orioles team or how Jack Leiter's going to look this season. Chris Bassett's pretty solid pitch for the Blue Jays. Now he's with the Orioles. So we'll see how he does. But in this game where I kind of feel like it's a coin flip, Rangers have been on the road, Orioles have been at home, kind of would take the plus money. But again, I'm not betting this game, so it's a pass for me. But if I was, I would just take the money with Jack Leiter. We'll see how he does this season. He had a huge improvement last year, so hopefully that carries over. All right, next game, the Washington Nationals and Foster Griffin against the Philadelphia Phillies, Taiwan Walker. Phillies are minus 177, the Nationals plus 146. I actually think if you do bet this game, the Nationals are pretty solid. They have a pretty solid price, and I don't mind it fading Taiwan Walker. Although the Phillies do have the Nationals number, especially at home, it's, that's why they're plus 150 basically. So you're going to have to pay for that. But, I wouldn't back the Phillies. Obviously, like I said, I'm not going to bet minus 177. And it looks like the run line is plus 115. So not something I want to get into with Philadelphia. This is a pass for me because I'm not ready to get there with the Nationals. I need to see more from their offense and see how Foster Griffin looks. So for me right now, this is a pass. But if I was to play it, it would be the Nationals. Again, leans, I don't, whatever. So I do have something on this next game, though. The Pittsburgh Pirates at the Cincinnati Reds. Braxton Ashcraft going for the Pirates plus 113 against Chase Burns minus 136. I grabbed this one. Let me check the number over at Bet Online because I'm reading the prices on DraftKings just because they have the full name. But right now, I did get Cincinnati Reds minus 129. I like the Reds here. I like Chase Burns. Again, we have to see what this Pittsburgh offense has, but I think this is a nice price early. Reds are off to I would say the Reds are off to a nice start offensively. They played very well against the Boston Red Sox. So getting a good price here with a strong pitcher in Chase Burns. And the Pirates, we don't really know what we're going to get from them just yet. But I do like this, and I like the price minus 129 bucket for the Cincinnati Reds. All right, next. The Chicago White Sox taking on the Miami Marlins. White Sox have Davis Martin on the mound against Chris Paddock. Marlins and Paddock are minus 156. White Sox plus 129. Again, Marlins are off to a hot streak. White Sox were able to put up some runs over the weekend. But again, do I want to lay 150 right now? I probably missed it. It was probably a better price earlier in the day. And I believe BetOnline has a better price, 145 with the Marlins, so that's not bad at all. But just nothing for me here. Looking at it before I looked at the prices, it looked like a pretty good solid bet for the Marlins at 150, 145. 145 is not bad. 5, is a slight difference, but we still want to see if this Marlins team's for real. With this Marlins offense, this might not be a bad price, but the reason why I didn't get there was Casey Paddock being minus 150. I kind of don't trust that at all. So it's a pass for me. All right, Colorado Rockies plus 234 at the Toronto Blue Jays. Blue Jays minus 293. Rockies are going to have Tomoyuki Sugano on the mound against Cody Ponce. Yeah, the Rockies kind of came out cold, got swept against the Marlins. Now going up against a pretty good Blue Jays team. Price makes sense. And this isn't a spot where I want to back the Rockies because, again, I got to see more. How's Sugano going to look with the Rockies, and how's this offense going to play? Yeah, nothing for me here. I need to see more from both of these teams, especially what this Rockies team has on offense. Next game, the Las Vegas, Oakland, no-name Athletics taking on the Atlanta Braves. Jacob Lopez going for the Athletics plus 113 against Bryce Elder, who's minus 130. I did grab this at BetOnline, with a nice price with the Atlanta Braves minus 131. Bryce Elder was locked in, had a great season last year. I think he can continue that, and I love this price with Atlanta. Yes, it does seem like it's a trap. It does seem like this is a very trappy feel here because I thought Atlanta was going to be minus 150, minus 160. I looked at the price. It was minus 130. And to me, that feels like they're tricking you here. But again, prove it to me. Athletics have to prove it to show that they could score, get some runs together, and their pitching staff is down. But we haven't seen it yet, so we got to wait to see that. Until then, I will back Bryce Elder and the Braves here. Braves are minus 131. All right. So next game, we've got Los Angeles Angels at the Chicago Cubs. I'll just read the other. Cubs are minus 180. Angels plus 162. Nothing for me here. Yeah, nothing for me here. Angels have been playing pretty scrappy. They played great against the Astros. The offense for the Astros, or for both teams, but the Angels offense has shown up. And that's why this one's juiced over 9.5 runs right now. But Edward Cabrera, strong pitcher. I'm not laying that number with Chicago. And Angels have proven that they're scrappy and they came to play this season. But nothing for me in this game. And next game, Tampa Bay Rays against the Milwaukee Brewers. Tampa Bay and Nick Martinez plus 135 against Kyle Harrison minus 163. Again, this has kind of gone over my threshold of the money line. So I think you can get a better price on BetOnline. Yes, because the Brewers, slight difference, but the Brewers are minus 159, which is, like I said, in my threshold to take the money line. But I do like the price on the run line. So I did take the Brewers minus 1.5 plus 135. Pretty good number there. I like it. I'm locking that one in. Brewers on the run line. Okay, next game. The New York Mets at the St. Louis Cardinals. Clay Holmes minus 156 against Kyle Lehigh plus 129. I thought about going with the Mets here, but they're a pretty sizable favorite on the road. Cardinals offense has showed up. They played pretty well against the Rays over the weekend. Just this Mets team, like I said, I thought they would be favored. I just didn't think they'd be like a minus 150 favorite. So for me, I'm going to pass that. If you do play this game, I would take the Mets. Next game, did I write? I did. Okay, so the next game, Boston Red Sox at the Houston Astros. Ranger Suarez minus 131 against Lance McCullers plus 109. Lance McCullers, I'm gonna be honest, he was pretty ice cold last season. I'm not a fan, not a fan. Ranger Suarez new team heading to the American League. We'll see how he does. Left the Phillies, left the National League. So, we gotta wait and see how he looks. Astros had a great back and forth series against the Angels. Like I said, a lot of offense here. Total in this game's 8.5. But I do like the Red Sox here, minus 122. I'm backing Ranger Suarez, backing the Red Sox to get off the mat after taking it on the chin a couple times against the Reds. Lance McCullers, yeah, this is really just a Lance McCullers fade. And we're getting a nice price with the Boston Red Sox. Nothing too crazy. Again, it's a road favorite, but I just like the pitching matchup here. And we'll have to wait and see how Ranger Suarez does in the American League. All right, next game, another one I like. New York Yankees at the Seattle Mariners. We got Ryan Weathers minus 115 against Luis Castillo minus 105. Do like the Seattle Mariners and Luis Castillo in this game. Castillo's been great against the Yankees. And the Seattle Mariners offense is kind of clicking right now. Although we do know the Yankees did sweep the Giants, but that's kind of an anemic offense. And now they're facing a better offense on the road against the Seattle Mariners. So I do like the Mariners here. And at Bet Online, they're at even money. Underdog plus 100, even money bet. Give me the Seattle Mariners. All right, next game, we've got the San Francisco Giants at the San Diego Padres. Layden Roop plus 100, even money against Walker Buehler minus 120. Walker Buehler, who's going to show up? Are we going to get Dodgers Walker Buehler? Are we going to get Red Sox Walker Buehler? Who knows, how he's going to look. But again, we've got he's going up against the Giants offense who is, can barely score any runs. That's why he's a favorite, but a short favorite. I was hoping to get a better price here with the San Francisco Giants. I thought they'd be worth throwing a flyer on, but again, I was thinking it maybe be plus 120, maybe even better than that. But at plus 100, even money, I got to see something from the Giants before I could in general bet them, but especially if we're not getting that good of a price, it's kind of not worth it. So for me, it's just a pass. I don't have anything in that game. Next game, Cleveland Guardians against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Parker Messick plus 159 against Roki Sasaki minus 194. Kyle Isbell just hit a home run for the Royals. That's good for DraftKings purposes. But this is a fade. This is a Roki Sasaki fade for me. I do like the Dodgers, but for me, Roki Sasaki coming out of the spring wasn't off to a hot start. And I believe the same thing happened last season, and he didn't start the season off very well either. And this Guardians team getting absolutely zero respect. Had a tough game last night. Was getting no hit, I think, until the 7th inning. Tough game, but I like this. I like the Guardians. I like the Indians. I think they could hit the ball. And at plus 160 at Bet Online, give me the Indians here. I think that they could score the upset on the road. They've been on the road so far every game this season. We're going to fade Roki Sasaki and hope Parker Messick can contain the Dodgers offense. I do like that one. Last but not least, last game of the night, Detroit Tigers at the Arizona Diamondbacks. Tim Verlander minus 102 against Mike Soroka minus 118. I was kind of on the fence here. I didn't know what I wanted to do with this game. Of course, the Arizona Diamondbacks struggled because they played the Dodgers to open up the season. Tigers actually had a great opening weekend. This is also I was afraid. I wanted to do our first total of the season, which was Tigers Diamondbacks under 9, but I kind of chickened out. I kind of want to see how these games play out before I start betting totals, because with this day and age, it's kind of hard to play unders. I'm an under better. But when it's at 9, I kind of like it under. But again, I'm not ready to get into the totals. But we're getting plus money with the Tigers, even though they're on the road. I do like Verlander. He did finish the season strong last year. And at plus 104, we're getting plus money. I do like the Detroit Tigers. So put them on the board. So let's go over our plays. We got a few of them. But again, this is what we do. And we're up so far this season. We're in the green. And we've got the Twins Royals game going right now. We'll see how that goes. But For me, we've got the Reds minus 129, the Braves minus 131. These are at Bet Online. Again, slight price differences if you're on DraftKings, etc. Brewers run line plus 135. And the Mariners plus 100 even money. Guardians plus 160 and the Detroit Tigers plus 104. I like what we have today. Some favorites, some underdogs. I didn't want to be too favorite heavy. Some of these games kind of scare me. But again, it's early in the season. I want to see how a lot of these pitchers look, see how these offenses do. Because, you have the Oaklands, you have the Athletics, the Rockies, some teams that I want to back, but again, we kind of want to see how they do. Like the Marlins, thought, White Sox would be White Sox are probably a decent play here for dog bettors, especially if you want to fade Casey Paddock and the Marlins starting the season off for a sweep. They're plus 131, but again, I want to see more from this White Sox team. Same thing with the Marlins, but I like our plays today. I appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching the first episode. I'm going to be doing these and the shorts as much as possible. And it's been a little wonky, so I'm trying to figure out the best setup and groove to go through the games. I like what we have. Again, thanks for liking, subscribing, and following. That's episode number 1 of the DDSN MLB Diamond Betting Show in the books. We'll see y'all tomorrow.